Good morning students, how are you all? Today we will be starting with your poem 3, A Tiger in the Zoo by Leslie Norris. Now before starting, let me tell you something about the poet. The poet here is known for his prize-winning stories and also children poetry. Okay, in this poem, Leslie Norris has shown us a tiger who is captivated in a zoo instead of being in a jungle, and she tries to showcase that how it is so difficult for the tiger to be in a zoo because that is not his natural habitat. All he does is just waits to get back to his home, that is jungle, where he can move freely, also can hunt freely, and can have water from whichever pond or pool he feels like. So in a jungle, Leslie Norris is trying to say that the tiger is the king. Okay, he has all the might, all the power, but when he is captivated in a zoo, he is merely a pet, unable to do something. And also when he is in a zoo, he does not feel like entertaining the visitors who have come to see him, right? So in this way, he just waits to get back to his natural habitat, that is forest or jungle. So now let us understand this poem in deep.
He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage. Okay, so the tiger in the zoo walks in the limited space provided to it in the cage. Stalks means to walk. Vivid stripes means noticeable stripes that he has on its body. And the few steps of his cage. So the tiger takes a few steps. Okay, next lines. On pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. Okay, pad here means paws of tiger. जब पंजे होते हैं टाइगर के वो. Okay, so the tiger's paw are soft like velvet and no noise is produced when it walks on its pads of velvet. So when he walks, it feels like his paws are walking on the pads of velvet. Okay, in his quiet rage. So the tiger is silent but is in rage. Rage means anger. Okay. Now, let us see why the tiger is angry. In the next stanza, it says, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass. Okay, so shadow here means jungle. So the tiger should be ideally lurking in shadow means walking in jungle, sliding through the long grass. Sliding means enjoying walking through the long grass. Long grass that is seen in forest, in jungle, in wildlife sanctuary. Okay. Near the water hole where plump deer pass. So he should also be seen near the water hole is like a lake in the jungle or a pond in the jungle where he goes to drink water and also hunts for his prey, also hunts for a plump deer. Okay, so we imagine tiger in a jungle and he drinking water, roaming around like a mighty beast. Okay, and also hunting for a plump deer. Plump deer means fat deer, and this is how we imagine tiger. But now let us see what his condition is in the next stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. So he says, the poet says that the tiger should be snarling. Snarling means scaring people, that is frightening people with his growl. Okay, like how tigers growl to scare people. At the jungle's edge. Okay, so wherever there is jungle's boundary, the tiger ideally should be scaring people away. Okay, barring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Okay, so the tiger should be also terrorizing, scaring people with his white fangs. White fangs are the long white teeth that tigers have. His claws, that is his punje. Okay, terrorizing the entire village. Ideally he should be doing so, the tiger. Okay, but now he is locked in a zoo. So let us see what the next stanza has to say. But he is locked in a concrete cell. Okay, so who is locked in a jail? That is in a zoo, that is tiger. Okay, so the tiger is locked in a zoo and his cell, his jail is made up of material like cement, sand, small pieces of stone and water, and he is locked, he is imprisoned in bars, okay, made up of these materials instead of walking freely in a jungle. Okay, his strength behind bars. So he cannot come out of it, and because the bars fixed at the concrete cells stop him. So the poet is very saddened by the situation that this mighty tiger is behind the bars, is locked in a zoo, and the poet says that the tiger's strength is locked behind the bars. He cannot materialize or use his strength. Okay, stalking the length of his cage. Stalking means walking. Okay, so the ignoring visitors. So here the tiger shows no interest in looking at the visitors. Rather, what does he do? Stalks the length of his cage. What does he do? He keeps on walking in an angry and proud manner in the limited space of his cage. Okay, so this is what tiger is doing. He is not interested in visitors, but he is walking in an angry and proud manner in the limited length of his cage. Okay, now let us understand the next stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Okay, so he hears the last voice at the night. So when it's time for tiger to rest, he is not able to rest because of the sirens of the car. Okay, that is in city life. Patrolling cars means just like we have siren, police sirens, we have ambulance sirens. Okay, they make a certain noise. Now this does not allow the tiger to sleep in the zoo. Okay, so here again the poet takes the reader to the cage where the tiger is sitting in the cage and feeling unpleasant and restless because of the patrolling cars, because of the city life and the cars that make a noise, has a whistle, just like police cars or ambulance. Okay, so he hears the sound by the patrolling cars of the zoo authorities. It could also mean zoo authorities. Okay, now, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Okay, so the tiger here has no interest in the visitors nor in the patrolling cars. Rather, this disturbs his sleep, and what does he do? The tiger stares at the shining stars with brilliant eyes, means in a hope that one day he will be out of this zoo and would be back to his home, his habitat, that is jungle or a forest or a wildlife sanctuary. Okay, so the poem ends with this note, and the poet raises a moral issue here. He intends to present a strong case against the cruelty of animals, okay, and which are kept in the cages away from their natural habitat. So finally it shows the condition of tiger where his strength is imprisoned behind the bars in a zoo, and he cannot move around freely like he used to do in jungle. He looks at these stars. He is not even interested in entertaining visitors, but at night he hopes, looking at the stars, that the stars do not change. Okay, one day he'll see the same stars and he has little hope in his eyes that he'll be back to jungle. Okay, now let us see the poetic devices. Number 1 is rhyme scheme. Okay, so here we see in the first paragraph, he stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps in his cage, on pads of velvet quite in his quiet rage. Okay, so this has stripes A, cage B, quiet C, and rage B. So this is A, B, C, B. Okay, again second stanza, he should be lurking in shadows, then grass, hole, pass. So it has the same rhyme scheme, A, B, C, B. Okay, the entire poem I guess has the same rhyme scheme. Then houses, edge, clause, village. Again A, houses A, edge B, clause C, village B. Okay, A, B, C, B. Cell A, bars B, cage C, visitors, bars, again B. So A, B, C, B. Then night A, cards B, eyes C, stars B. Why? Cards and stars rhyme. So this will be A, B, C, B. Again Okay, so all of it has A, B, C, B, and that is second and fourth line rhyme, and rest are not rhyming. Now here the major device used is personification, because tiger being an animal, we see that he is used as a male tiger. Okay, so the poet does not make use of it, but he makes use of he. So that is why he gives human qualities to tiger, who can feel what jungle is to him, and who can also feel the loneliness of the zoo and wishes to go back to his sweet home jungle. So that is why he has personified an inanimate or a semi-animate object like tiger by calling him he and not it. Okay, then metaphor is used in the third line of first stanza. On pads of velvet quite. Okay, so here the pads, his paws, his panjas are compared to velvety texture. So that is why metaphor is used. Okay, then metonymy is used, his strength behind the bars. Why? Because the word strength is used to mean the body of the tiger, the entire body of the tiger, where the entire strength of this majestic creature is there, resides, and this very creature, tiger, is locked up within a cage in the zoo. Okay, so the attribute strength is used to mean the tiger himself and not only the word strength. Okay, so this is metonymy. A single quality stands for the entire being, okay, or a larger thing, right? So this was it, students. We'll call it a day. I'll be sharing with you the notes and question and answers in Naresa's classes. Till then, take care.